Hello, this is Cindy from Cindy's Library, and today I want to talk about The Other Bennet Sister, and this is by Janice Hadlow. So, I haven't really read many Jane Austen retellings or spin-offs, but I really enjoyed this one. As the name implies, is based on Pride and Prejudice, based on one of the Bennet girls, Mary Bennet to be specific, and this is a very fascinating choice because we get plenty about Lizzie, of course, being the heroine of the original, and we get lots about Jane and a fair amount about Lydia, since she demands attention. Kitty, it is true, we know even less about than any of the other girls, except that she's kind of a lesser clone of Lydia and does pretty much everything Lydia does. So not much to work there. But Mary, in spite of her brief appearances in the original Pride and Prejudice, she does have a distinct personality, and in this book it is explored much further. What does the Bennet family look like from Mary's perspective? What do the events of Pride and Prejudice look like from Mary's perspective? And assuming that instead of being a spinster and taking care of her parents, Mary had found someone and gotten married and had her own happily ever after, what would that have looked like? That is a very good question, which the author sets out to answer in The Other Bennet Sister. So I found it delightful. Sad too, Mary's position and how she feels about herself, at least at first. But, well, I don't think I'll be giving too much away by assuring you, without giving any details, that in the end Mary does find her happily ever after. And so, what else can I say about this book? First 100 pages or so are, well, the first few chapters or so, they set everything up, describing the Bennet family before the events of Pride and Prejudice and a few events specific to Mary. Then at about page 100 or so, we get through the main part of where it mirrors Pride and Prejudice. And then the rest of the book is what happens to Mary afterwards. The style is very much in Austen's vein. So here is the first paragraph. It is a sad fact of life that if a young woman is unlucky enough to come into the world without expectations, she had better do all she can to ensure she is born beautiful. To be poor and handsome is misfortune enough, but to be penniless and plain is a hard fate indeed. And that is exactly how Mary feels at the beginning of the book. We see her relationship with her sisters. Well, we more glimpse them. We see a more extended relationship with Charlotte Lucas, of all people. But why not? For any Mr. Collins fans, we get plenty of Mr. Collins, and we get a decent amount of Mr. and Mrs. Bennet as well. But, at least from the original novel, it is the Gardners who really shine here. They are wonderful. They were wonderful to both Jane and Lizzie in Pride and Prejudice, and they are wonderful here. And we meet two handsome heroes, and I probably can't tell you much else about that. But if you are a Jane Austen fan, I would highly recommend this book. It is a very wonderful imagination of Pride and Prejudice from Mary Bennet's perspective, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I can't wait to read it again soon. So, this is Cindy from Cindy's Library. I hope you stay well, and until next time, happy reading!